Hi everyone, today I will show you how to use different tools on Desmos you will need throughout the process of completing your internal assessment. First of all, you will have to open Desmos. Once you open the website, click on the Graphing Calculator button. Once you're on this page, you may have to insert an image to work with. To do that, click on the Add Item button found in the top left corner. Then click on Image and add a picture from your device. Once you have your image, you can move it around using the blue circle found at its center. Alternatively, you can use the coordinate input section in the menu on the left. This will allow you to move the image more precisely. You can zoom in to make sure your image is positioned accurately. You may also have to rotate your image. You can also do that by using the menu on the left. For example, to rotate the image by 90 degrees anti-clockwise, you can insert an angle of pi/2 radians. You can search for an angle's equivalent in radians using any search engine. Now, I will show you how to plot points and find regressions. Firstly, to plot points, you will have to insert a table. Click on the Add Item button in the top left corner and then click on Table. In this table, you can input all the coordinates you will need to plot on your graph. You can remove items from your graph by clicking on the Visibility button in the left menu. To compute regressions for your dataset, you will have to insert an expression. You can do that by simply clicking on free space in the left side menu. Now, just insert the general formula of the function you desire. For instance, if I wanted to compute a quadratic regression for the data at hand, I would insert the formula y1 is approximately equal to ax1 squared plus bx1 plus c, where y1 and x1 correspond to the labels of the data in my table. The parameter values for my function, as well as its r-squared value, can be found below the regression formula. I can also limit the domain of my regression, as well as any other function I plot, using curly brackets. For instance, for this quadratic regression, I want to limit the domain to x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 5. Now that we have the data and regression plotted, we will have to export an image to upload onto the internal assessment report. However, before we do that, we will have to properly label the x and y axes, as well as scale the graph to an appropriate size. To label the x and y axes, click on the Settings button in the top right corner, and change the labels as needed. You can also change the range of x and y values that appear on the graph to scale it appropriately. For instance, in this case, the x values range from 0 to 5, so an appropriate x scale would be from negative 0.5 to 5.5. Similarly, the y values range from 0 to about 3, so an appropriate y scale would be from negative 0.5 to 3.5. The graph is now ready to export. I first want to export the scatter plot without the regression graph, so I will deselect it from the left side menu. I will now select the Share Graph button, then Export Image. I can select the settings I prefer, and finally I can download the image onto my device. An essential element in the completion of your internal assessment is receiving feedback from your teacher. To receive feedback on your data collection process, you will have to share your Desmos file with your teacher. To do that, you can press the Share Graph button, then share the link that appears in this field. One important thing to note, however, is that any changes made to this file will not appear in the link previously shared. You will have to share a new link every time you make any changes.